Hello, welcome to my channel Planets in You. Today we are going to talk about different houses in astrology. But before I jump into that topic, I'm going to share a very interesting story with you. So this story is about the problems. So there was a devotee who was suffering many problems. He complained to God that, hey, see, I worship you every morning, every evening, and still I have so many problems. If I look at other folks, Mr. A, he is happy all the time. Mr. B is having so many luxury cars. Mr. C has so much financial wealth. Why all the problems in my bucket? Why? So God said, yeah, means you are suffering from so many problems, dude. Let's do this. Let me get back to you in a day. He said, okay, I can suffer for one more day. He went to bed. He had a dream that all the folks had to get up and make a chit, one chit for each problem, put it in a bag, take the bag and collect in a hall outside the town. So he followed the crowd. He went to the hall. So there was an instruction that you take your bag and hang on the wall. So everybody did, means they hang their bags on the wall. When they look at others' bag, means all of them were same size. And now there was another announcement that now you can choose any bag you want, any bag you want. Now the guy started to think, means my bag, Mr. A's bag, Mr. B's bag, and the folks whom he doesn't even know, they have the same size of problems, and he was like, I think it is better to pick my own bag, because at least I know my problems. These problems are known. If I pick somebody else's bag, I don't even know what is in there. Means it is better to face known problems than unknown problems. So he quickly ran to his bag and picked his, came back home. Next day God appeared. God said, okay, tell me, so what happened? So let's discuss about your problem. He said, you know what, God, I'm happy. I don't have any problem because I know what is the problem. Now I can focus on the solution. Earlier I was just focusing on the problem. So when the problem is known in your life, you should focus on the solution. And in a way, there is no problem. Then God replied. God said, you know what, buddy? So the God was Mr. Ram. So he said, you know what? When I was about to be a king, I was told that, hey Ram, you have to go to the forest and live there for 14 years. And God said, you know, I was a king. I had to go out in the jungle with a beautiful wife. She was one of the most beautiful women in the town at that point of time. And I had to live in the jungle for 14 years. Then my wife was kidnapped. And then I had to fight a battle with one of the most powerful person. Then due to political reasons, I have to live separately with my wife. Number 3, I had almost killed my son, Love and Kush, during the Ashwamedh Yagya. So I know, buddy, you have a lot of problems, but I have my own problems as well. And you worship me not because just I am a god or I have some magical powers. It's just because I faced so many problems, and despite all of them, I faced them courageously. Means I did not bow down to any problem. They came, I just hugged them. I welcomed them, embraced them in my life. And that's the reason you worship me. That's the reason you worship me. And that's the lesson for you. No problem is bigger than you. And most of the problems are here. So this is the lesson. Let's talk about different houses in astrology. So those who are living in apartment or in individual houses, there are standard guidelines from local authorities that how or what should be the specifications, means what are the things that you need to take care of when you are building the house. And then within a house you have multiple bedrooms, drawing room, puja room, servant room, and so on and so forth. Similarly, your horoscope contains 12 houses. But for the sake of simplicity, you can imagine it's a one house with the 12 rooms. So if you imagine a circle, 360 degree divided by 12, which contains 30. So each house or each room in that horoscope is of 30 degrees. So 30 degree when it ends, the second house starts. When the 60 ends, the third house. So in the circle, it goes from first house to the 12th house. And even if you look at it from a nature or scientific perspective, everything on this planet has got a house. Whether it's a flower, whether it's a bird, whether it's a plant, and whether it's a star. Means even the stars are living in sky, means it's their house. Now let me explain you the standard specification of each house. So basically, you spend your day from morning to evening in those houses, in those rooms, in your horoscope. So house number 1 is you. So your head, it's you. The house number 1 is represented by your head or your overall personality. House number 2 represents your family, represents the accumulated wealth. House number 3 represents your efforts, your communication. It also represents your younger brothers and sisters. House number 4 represents your mother. It also represents properties that you own, conveyance that you own, and so on. House number 5 represents your education, your love affairs, your kids. How many kids are you going to have? House number 6 represents litigation. It represents disease. House number 7 represents your spouse. It also represents the business transactions. House number 8 represents delays. House number 8 represents certain gain of wealth. House number 9 represents your father, represents your luck. House number 10 represents the type of work that you're going to do. It's called the karmasthana or karma. House number 11 represents your desires or the gain that you're going to have in life. House number 12 is the house of expenses. Now this is just to make you understand that how the horoscope is divided into different rooms, what are the different specification. And if you imagine your day, means you go to office, you spend time with the family, you spend time with the elder brothers, sisters, as well as younger brothers and sisters. You spend your time with the father, mother. So you are spending some time in each house in your horoscope throughout the day. Now there are somebody says, okay, I am facing this problem in my life. So it really goes back to what type of problem the person is facing, whether it is related to house number 1, the person is not well, or the person is not healthy, or it is related to house number 2, means there are family issues, or it is related to mother's sickness, house number 4, or maybe if you want to buy a house or if you want to sell a house, it's house number 4. Means there are more strings attached to it, but at a very high level, just to make you understand, I'm trying to make it a very simple framework so that you absorb it, and then when you're doing something, when you face some problem, you just go back and just imagine, okay, I'm facing this type of problem in this scenario, so it belongs to this house of my horoscope. And that's the first step, just because it is a tool. And before using a tool, because if you have a car, you should know how to drive it. If you hire a driver, that's okay, but there are so many occasions where you need to drive. Means driving is fun. So if you know how to drive, even if you have a driver, and if you don't know anything about driving, the driver can fool you. So you need to know the directions, you need to know about the tool, you need to know how to use the tool as well. These 3 things are very important in life, and that's what the idea behind creating this channel, that you understand these tools and you make use of it in your day-to-day life. Now if you like the video, please subscribe it. If you have any comments, please drop below. If you have anything specific that you want to discuss, please drop me an email with a specific question. And yeah, that's very important. Whenever you go to astrologer, don't ask subjective questions, just ask objective questions, because if an astrologer is really good, he's superb, He is not going to answer your subjective questions. He is going to ask you, okay, ask me something very objective, because this is mathematics, this is geometry. Means we are not talking about English literature here, where somebody is going to describe you a big nice story or essay. Means so that's what you need to understand before you approach an astrologer. Even if when you start to grasp the concept of astrology, just be objective, be very scientific in your approach, that how I'm going to use this tool, okay, whether on the daily basis, whether on the weekly basis, however. Means it's up to you. There are a lot of people who make use of this tool on the daily basis, and they are seeing improvements in their life. So it's up to you how you do it. Thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.